I'm Alison Leaney, and I'm the Provincial Coordinator for Vulnerable Adults and Community Response at the Public Guardian and Trustee of BC. Unfortunately, there are many adults in BC who experience abuse, neglect, and self-neglect, but they are able to seek support and assistance on their own, in their own communities. Unfortunately, each year, the Public Guardian and Trustee receives about 1,100 concerns about adults who may be experiencing financial abuse, neglect, or self-neglect, where there are also concerns about them being mentally incapable. For example, sometimes attorneys acting under a power of attorney mismanage the adult's funds, sometimes out of lack of information or knowledge about what it means to be the attorney, or sometimes it's because of their own financial need. So that's one kind of situation. Another is where people have managed very well on their own, but over time with increased mental incapacity, they're not able to manage their financial affairs, and maybe they've outlived many of their supportive family and friends, and there's no one left able to assist. These are the kinds of situations in which the Public Guardian and Trustee gets involved. It is the Public Guardian and Trustee Services to Adults Division that looks into these kinds of situations, specifically our Assessment and Investigation Services Division. If you as a victim service worker are concerned about an adult who is abused, neglected, or self-neglecting, and they have multiple forms of abuse or neglect happening simultaneously, you can contact your local designated agency directly. However, if you think the concern is specific to financial abuse, neglect, or self-neglect, where there's concerns about the adult's mental incapacity, you can make a referral to the Public Guardian and Trustee. To do this, you would contact the appropriate regional office and ask to talk to the regional consultant, whom we call an RC, who serves the community in which the adult lives. Depending on the combination of circumstances, there are a number of different actions that regional consultants, or RCs as we call them, can take. For example, they can consult on complex abuse and neglect situations where there are concerns about the actions of a substitute decision maker, or where there may in fact be a need for a substitute decision maker to be named. They can investigate the actions of trustees, representatives, or attorneys where there are concerns about mismanagement of funds and concerns about mental incapability. RCs can also use protective measures, which include temporarily restricting access to adults' bank accounts, and they can also prevent the transfer of property during investigations. RCs can request an accounting of how the adult's funds are being spent, and they can also collaborate with their local designated agency partners, because often these situations of financial abuse or mismanagement are not happening in isolation. Other forms of abuse are taking place. For our RCs to launch an investigation, there are 3 criteria that must be met, and they are as follows. There must be imminent risk to the adult's assets. There must be a reason to believe that the adult is mentally incapable, and there is no one else available to assist the adult. So in summary, what all this means is if you were to make a report to the Public Guardian and Trustees Assessment and Investigation Service, what the RC would do would be to gather information. They would exercise protective measures as appropriate, and they would be looking to determine whether more formal assistance is required. However, they only do that after they've worked with the caller to see whether there are more informal measures that can be undertaken that would be least intrusive for the adult. Sometimes, though, the more formal involvement of the Public Guardian and Trustee is required. In these situations, the RC will look for the least intrusive legal option and will ensure that medical assessments and notifications and any other legal steps are well coordinated. The Public Guardian and Trustee must not disclose the identity of anyone makes a report or an allegation, and any information provided to the Public Guardian and Trustee is collected, used, and disclosed within the provisions of applicable privacy legislation.